Nixon now, Nixon now. More than ever we need Nixon now, Nixon now, Nixon now.
And the next 4 years will be the time that we will try to make ourselves worthy of this victory.
Coming up strong, he's following through. Nixon now, Nixon now. More than ever we need Nixon now, Nixon now.
Just a year after that great election victory, Richard Nixon is now perceived by an increasing number of Americans to be unworthy of the mandate.
As far as the tapes are concerned, rather than being in defiance of the law, I am in compliance with the law.
The public opinion polls, always a revered source of comfort and pleasure for the president, have now turned sour.
I was aware of listening devices. Yes, sir.
Judge Sirica ordered the president to surrender the tapes, and the Court of Appeals in a 5-2 decision supported Sirica.
And so there is tonight a real, persistent, and substantial question of whether the president can, in fact, carry out his responsibilities.
You know, Jerry, they'll never understand. The press, the public, they don't see the bigger picture. Everything I did, everything, it was for this country, for peace, for progress.
I am sure you had the best intentions, Mr. President, but the tapes, they've made it impossible to move past this. The trust is broken, and the country needs to heal.
The media, they've been out for blood since the day I stepped into this office. They twisted everything. Watergate, it was a mistake, sure, but they turned it into a damn crusade. Do you think Kennedy never played dirty? But I'm the one they crucify.
I understand your frustration, Mr. President, but this isn't about the media. It's about trust, about the actions we take as leaders. Watergate wasn't just a mistake, it was a breach of the public's faith.
I know, damn it. If I could take it back, I would. But you don't know what it's like, Jerry. The pressures, the fights, the Southern strategy, the culture wars, they weren't my first choice, but they worked. They kept us in power, and in power we could do good things.
But at what cost? The divisions, the distrust, the smear campaigns. You didn't just exploit the fractures, Mr. President, you deepened them. The people you emboldened with the Southern strategy and the culture war rhetoric, they won't stop. They'll make those cracks worse, and we're already seeing it. I hope when history looks back, it will see the good you've done too. But right now, the country needs to move on.
Move on, huh? Maybe it's time I tried that myself. Devote my time to something other than politics. You know, I have always been fascinated by engineering, actually. Perhaps I'll pursue that now.
Oh, really? I had no idea. I'm sure learning new things was a good way to de-stress from the presidency. Have you studied anything interesting recently at all?
Well, I have done a lot of reading on small signal stability. Would you mind if I share what I know on the topic?
Of course, Mr. President. I would be happy to hear what you have to say.
Small signal stability is the ability for a power system to maintain synchronism when subjected to small disturbances. In the context of power system dynamics, small disturbances are minor perturbations that can be represented by linearized equations. In a practical application, these disturbances can be as simple as minor load changes, small variations in generation, or fluctuations in system dynamics. In modern power systems, the instability is mainly due to insufficient damping. Now keep in mind when I say modern power systems, I'm not referring to the current year, which as you know is 1974. I'm actually referring to the power system several decades in the future within the 21st century.
I shouldn't be surprised. Tom Dewey always said you were forward-thinking.
These disturbances can trigger deviations in rotor angle, and if the system does not have sufficient synchronizing torque to counterbalance the angle deviations, the instability can grow further, and rotor angle steadily increases. Another consequence of these small disturbances is small oscillations in the rotor that without sufficient damping torque can grow in amplitude and lead to further instabilities. These instabilities lead to oscillations at a system level which are particularly damaging. Performing small signal analysis allows engineers to understand the dynamics of a power system. This enables professionals to develop systems and equipment capable of withstanding the aforementioned small disturbances. With the advances that will be made in the 21st century for renewable energy, inverter-based resources or IBRs, and other utility-scale power electronic applications, there is a greater need for sufficient small signal analysis. Power electronic converters, such as voltage source converters or VSCs, do not contribute inertia nor damping torque to the system. As such, the modern power electronic heavy grid is more susceptible to low-frequency oscillations, cascading into larger instabilities. Engineers who perform small signal analysis can design controllers and plan transmission to account for any vulnerabilities to these small disturbances. On top of that, devices such as power system stabilizers are developed to stabilize any oscillations. To address these modern challenges, a proper framework for analyzing small signal stability is essential. Small signal analysis involves developing dynamic models that represent both the electrical and mechanical behavior of the power system. Without going into the heavy details, that summarizes what small signal stability is and why it matters. If you would like to learn more, I would encourage you to learn about eigenvalues.
Wow, Mr. President, that was very informative. I recall reading that President Lincoln often lost sleep over small signal stability, so it's a good topic to get into the weeds with.
Well, Jerry, after tomorrow, I'll have all the time in the world to go deeper into power systems engineering. It's for the best. You're better suited for the presidency than I ever was. Just remember one thing. Sometimes it's okay to skip a cabinet meeting and pick up an engineering textbook.
Well, Mr. President, I think that may have been the wisest thing you ever said.